How's it going, guys? It's me, Domo the Don't Talk Anime Channel, back again with our episode 8 reaction of Boku Dake ga Inai Machi, and I don't know why the hell I'm wearing the hat, but I find it pretty funny. Anyways, this episode, the series, I'm just dying and waiting for this next episode all the time, every single week, because this just might be my favorite anime of this season. Now, getting too distracted by other things, but last time we left off, we had that cliffhanger of the erased cliffhanger, the usual cliffhanger of the person walking in the bus on Hinazuki, and he didn't knock. It's an adult, right? So we continue on from that, right? And we learn that it's supposedly the killer. Now, after he walks in, he like kicks a few boxes inside, he scares Hinazuki, he drops a bag, and he runs off. Or he just, not runs off, but he walks away, right? So clearly, he's up to no good, and we don't know who this guy is. Afterwards, after that event, Satoru comes over, and he's just like checking out Hinazuki, right? And then eventually they learn about this whole event that happened, right? He gathers his friends, he gathers, Ryo, I think is his name. I forgot the blonde, the other kid's name, who's his partner in crime, basically. And they bring the other friend too, who gets murdered, who's a victim of the thing. They basically look into the bag, right? They investigate the bag. It's like, okay, this dude kicked this box, and then he dropped this bag, he left. Inside the box were the tools that commit the murder on Hinazuki, and just damn, it's basically the killer. So then, like, Satoru's laying out the plan, because no one else knows what these items do. They had like a mask, a spray, you had boots, you had some rope, and then you had like some other stuff in there. And damn, like, this is the killer, because Satoru goes through every single detail of the way that Hinazuki dies, or like how she's murdered and whatnot. And it's exactly like as these things go. We have these items, they're used this way, and yeah, it makes perfect sense. So these items and this bag have to belong to the killer, and he left them there, and maybe because he knows where Hinazuki is. And then it sort of relates to this whole episode where it's called Spiral, where basically, even though they basically try to change a bunch of stuff in this past, it's going back to the same like timeline where Hinazuki's gonna die. And Satoru realizes that it's going in a spiral, in a loop sort of way, towards Hinazuki and like the killer and the killer's plot. So he's gonna have to change it again. And basically how he does this is that he brings Kayo to his house. Now, some other minor details about like this killer and his equipment and whatnot. He had his footprint imprinted on the cardboard box, and he had this like sort of like black powders kind of stuff. Maybe that might come in handy later. And other minor details is that Satoru does run into the first victim, or another victim of this killer. There were 3 victims, right? There's Kayo, there's the friend that he hangs around with, and this other girl from a school. So yeah, they run into her, and then we see all these people, and they're like, okay, they're not dead yet, supposedly. I think, why is Kayo first though? I don't get it. So yeah, anyways, enough myth busting for now. Next, so that basically they bring Kayo into the house, into Satoru's house. That's the plan B, basically, to try and keep away the killer from Kayo. We have to keep him in the house, right? And it's all good and all, because the mom just figured it out, you know, it's like, I see what you're doing, son. And like, you know, she finds out Satoru is just doing this whole thing for Kayo. She doesn't scold him that much, so that's a good mom right there, good parenting. She like accepts that, you know, like, oh, you're helping out your friend, that's fine, you know, do whatever, and stuff like that. Eventually, it's all good, right? I mean, this episode turns out to be so okay, right? I mean, nothing bad's happening yet. So then later on, they sleep together in the same house, and this episode's just really emotional for one. Like, nothing's happening, nothing bad's happening, but there's a lot of emotional stuff between Kayo, Satoru, and like his mom. It's just a really cool family-esque episode thing. And last episode, I totally suspected that the teacher was a total, like, he was in on this, right? You know, he was the murderer. But I don't think that the teacher's that, you know, the murderer anymore. I think, for one, he's just shady looking as, because, you know, he's just doing all these things. I thought it was him on the bus that last episode, but no, it wasn't him. And basically the teacher has basically called like the child protective services to try and, you know, free Kayo and like get their mom, but then she escapes their grasp. And then basically the teacher, the episode leaves off in a little small cliffhanger, but I think I know what's gonna happen, right? So basically, Satoru's mom called up the teacher, right, and telling him, oh, Kayo and Satoru came over to my house today. We have them, they're safe, right? And then they're like talking about meeting up, right, at around 7 o'clock. And I think this meeting place right here, they're meeting in front of Kayo's house, and the mom shows up, right? And like the mom like finally sees Kayo's like, oh, where have you been? And when she's about to slap her, but then bang, you got Satoru and his mom all on the job, protecting her at all costs. Now, I think that this is a setup for next episode, because the teacher's gonna come with the protective service people, and then they're gonna detain Kayo's mom. Kayo will be safe and away from the murderer's grasp, but something's gonna happen, because that's how this show works. Every single episode, most of the episodes always had some kind of thing happen towards the end, like a cliffhanger, because that's how this episode is. But this one didn't. So now it's just like really getting me on edge right now, because, you know, I'm expecting something to happen this series, like bad, but this whole episode just seems so happy and like, you know, not as bad. But I mean, yeah, that's this series, man. This thing's getting me on edge. Now, I want to talk about some few theories and hypotheses I've heard over the anime discussion network, whatever. I heard lots of rumors about like just things about the series and like you know, discussions and whatnot. For one, I think I've heard that the killer somehow has revival. Now, it's all just a rumor. It's all discussions. Like people like thinking, like, hey, why? What about this series and whatnot, right? So one theory I'm hearing around is that the killer has revival also. Now, this seems kind of far-fetched for me personally, but then I see it as very highly unlikely that he has revival. But I mean, it's not zero, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, the killer is just like, he's always getting, like, you know, Satoru. Even the killer right now, he found out that Kayo was on that bus, and, you know, as much as Satoru is trying to change everything, he keeps coming back. It's all a loop, a spiral, right? So, I mean, after this episode, I was thinking, like, you know what, that could be, because, you know, he might have revival, and he might just actually be fighting Satoru throughout time and whatever, or something like that, right? And then, next, like, theories and, like, whatever, we'll leave that aside for now. I don't know, what do you guys think about this theory that the killer has revival too? I highly think it's far-fetched, but I mean, it's not a zero possibility, you know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think about that? Other things that I'm thinking about for the show currently right now is just the fact that this whole episode, nothing bad happened. So that means something bad has to happen next episode. And it's either the fact that something happens to Kayo, or something happens just in general, but something has to happen. Nothing has ever happened in this series that has been good until something bad happens until the end. Like that one episode where Kayo gives them the gloves and they escort him home, but then Kayo turns out to be missing the next day. That was the first time, right? And then something bad happens all the time at the end of every episode. Like, this one, nothing. This episode, or this series, is going for 12 episodes, so I'm really hoping to see a huge, epic conclusion to this series. And, I mean, I can't really predict how this anime is gonna go. Like, you have people theorizing and discussing, like, what do you think is gonna happen? Who's the killer? All that stuff. But we cannot predict this anime, and that's why I love it so much. Freaking mystery and all that stuff. So, anyways, guys, that's it for this video. If you guys have any sort of theories, discussions, or questions, or any of the sort to this anime or this episode, feel free to ask me in the comment section below, because I love to hear these discussions and whatnot. I really haven't been looking towards, like, you know, discussions and theories until now, because it's just been getting such a good point to the anime, and the anime's technically almost done, because I hear it's going for 12. So, yeah, I mean, I want to hear what you guys are thinking, and what you guys think about the series. What are you guys thinking about for the series, the future, and the killer, and all that stuff. And, yeah, tell me all that stuff in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next video on the Domotaku anime channel. You make sure to follow me on Twitter at the Domotaku, because I love to talk on Twitter, maybe about Erased, maybe about any other stuff. And subscribe, because next week I will be back for episode 9 to see what kind of bad things happened in that episode. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine it. And that's about it, guys. So I'll see you guys on the next video on Domotaku anime channel. Take care, guys, and matane.